All right, folks, we're back with you. This is Matt Canizar and Aaron Smith live at the 2013 USBC Women's Championships. We're at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. We've now shifted our attention one pair to the right for the defending scratch and diamond doubles champions, Lindsay Boomershine and Elysia Current. Boomershine also the defending scratch all events winner. So looking forward to an exciting broadcast. We talked to Elysia earlier, and they felt good about their chances after last year and coming in and scoping out the lanes here for today. Hank Boomershine from Storm Products here as well to help his wife settle down, get ready for today's competition. Elysia Current started with a double already. Boomershine with back-to-back spares will have current leaders. And yesterday's team event for you. All that and more. Coming right up.
Is that my cue?
What do you got for us, Aaron Smith?
Well, we'll recap yesterday. These ladies once again bowled the team event. Storm Nation. Good name. Seems fitting. Put together a nice effort. 31.55 scratch total, which turned into 31.73 with handicap in the diamond division. Lindsay Boomershine led the way with 7.03, a great start to her all events title defense. She's followed by Elysia Current, 6.91, Christy Leong, 6.36, Kalina Henning, 5.66, and their fifth teammate is not, I don't believe, bowling doubles and singles today. I think she's with another group in a day or two. Jamie Rovner, 5.59. As far as scores they're chasing, this is currently unofficial. We had, for scratch doubles, the first title they're defending, Carrie Caduto, Union, Illinois, and Tina Becky, Carroll Stream, Illinois, 14.09. We saw Carrie and Tina as part of the Eagles Edge Pro Shop team, our live stream last week, which took over the scratch team event as well with a near record score. They put up 14.09 the next day. And diamond doubles is currently Carrie Voivoda and Amanda Holst out of Illinois. 14.43 is their handicap total for diamond, so that's the first number these ladies are shooting for. As far as all events, scratch, Joey Biondo, Carpentersville, Illinois, 20.59. Joey was leading the diamond portion of all events as well, but has been passed since in the past few days. Christine Gill of Lakewood, Colorado, 23-24, making a big jump in the diamond all events standings. So these ladies will have to strike to get to those diamond totals as well as the scratch totals, but they are certainly capable of it. Off to a strong start here. A lot of strikes up on the board through 4 frames. Henning cleans up the 6-10 there. Her first spare of the day. That's a good thing, though, because she's had nothing but strikes before that. Also on the squad, a few pairs to our left on 17 and 18. Naomi Gamboa of El Paso, Texas, a place we were at not too long ago. One of 19 individuals to roll a perfect 300 game on the tournament lanes, so we'll keep an eye on her as well. She's a few pairs to our left here on 29-30. as Matt ran down earlier. Elysia Current and Lindsay Boomershine, defending scratch and diamond doubles champions from the 2012 event in the National Bowling Stadium. Boomershine's continued strong through her other events to take the scratch all events title. 22-26, she's actually bowling right above her banner for all events, so a little inspiration to get to that number. On the way to that doubles title, Boomershine led the way with a 784. And Current added a 696 for a 1480 total. They did not receive any handicap, so that was their diamond score as well, which was tied by Karina Grasso and Megan Hill. So they had to share that title, but I think they're okay with that. And in all events, Boomershine also added 735 in singles and 707 in team to get to that 22-26 total, the third highest in women's championships history.
Well, Boomershine also became just the 6th player in tournament history to win 3 titles in the same year. And a fantastic feat for sure.
That 1480 double score was also the 3rd highest in tournament history, so they're getting their names all around the record books, which is a pretty good problem to have.
All right, so we're in the 5th frame here. Boomershine's going to step up on the right lane. Then we'll take a look at the scoreboard. Just 4 bowlers on this pair, so we're going to speed through, especially with the amount of strikes they're going to throw. Looks like the other 2 bowlers, cancellation. There's the Bird Dog. Doesn't take out the 10. Boomershine was working on a double. I know she's been working real hard at this. I think when I talked to her, winning last year really kind of revitalized her love and her passion for the sport. She's been doing a lot of bowling, a lot of coaching, and now being in Brigham City, Utah, right there by the Storm factory, having the opportunity to use the expertise of her husband, Hank, and all the other folks at Storm. She really has that fire again to compete, a national champion at Nebraska.
Yeah, Lindsay had a very accomplished career at Nebraska, was the 2004-2005 NCAA Rookie of the Year, followed that up the following year as Collegiate Bowler of the Year for the NCAA. She was a 3-time All-American. She followed that up by competing in the Women's Series, PBA Women's Series. She comes from a good line of bowlers as well. Her uncle is PBA 50 superstar Tommy Baker, the Bakes. This whole group has collegiate experience. Henning, who just left the Big Four on 30, also went to Nebraska. While Young bowled out of Cal State Fullerton. It's a great shot by Lindsay there on lane 29. Looks like the Roto Grip Disturbed once again making an appearance on our live stream.
Very recognizable and familiar. We've seen that ball quite a bit. Carolyn Doran Ballard struck a lot on our broadcast throwing that ball. Also John Trubinski, who's leading all events and singles over at the Open Championships.
Yeah, it was exciting watching. It was an exciting day at that. Watching Lindsay and Elysia take over the take over the doubles lead and then come back later in the day. They were bowling on the very low end during doubles at the National Bowling Stadium. Obviously, we didn't have the setup we have now, so not necessarily all 78 lanes were in play, but a good portion of them as everyone prepared for the U.S. Women's Open. And Kristen Warzinski had just finished off I believe she was the last one to shoot 300 last year, the 19th in tournament history. During her doubles event, her and Stephanie Nation put together a real nice performance. It wasn't enough to get to the leading score of Shannon Pluhowski and Megan Kelly at the time, but then all the way on, I want to say 3 and 4 possibly. Made the long run down there to catch the final frame for Current and Boomershine as they both doubled in the 10th to get to the lead. Once again, Lindsay had 784 out of the gates, followed with 735, so she was in real good shape to make a run at all events. Struggled out of the gates with a 180 and change, I believe, and really needed to turn it on after that, and stepped up in the final game, needing 270s, low 270, 272, 273. And I believe she doubled, got a 9 spare early, and then ran the sheet to eventually claim the all events title as well. So it was an exciting day of bowling.
Well,
and some pressure shots as well, knowing maybe she didn't know the situation at the time, but watching everyone, it was like clockwork almost.
Sort of the experience level of all these women here that we're watching right now. Collegiately, Elysia Current, second at the USBC Queens in 2011. Made a lot of great shots to get to that TV show. She was the #1 seed going in, lost to Missy Parkin.
Now Current is giving back to the collegiate ranks, taking on the role as head coach at Delaware State University. I believe that position was held formerly back a few years ago by USBC Hall of Famer Kim Terrell-Kearney, who was also featured on Bowl TV not too long ago. Our very first broadcast from the women's. But yeah, Current's run in the collegiate ranks as she steps up on 29 here was pretty impressive. She was also a 2-time Junior Team USA member. But she was the collegiate bowler and rookie of the year in the 03-04 season at Fairleigh Dickinson. And then she moved on to Wichita State and won just about everything you could in 2007. She was part of the ITC champions, as well as claiming the intercollegiate singles championship as well. So really can't argue with a record like that. She'll look to clean up that 7-pin here in frame number 7.
Time is flying. Game 1. Already winding down. We'll take a look at the scoreboard here in just a sec. We'll let Henning throw this shot.
Just looking to get back on track after 2 opens.
Great shot there. There's your scoreboard. Looks like Henning and Leon are going to make a run at it here, at least early. Current, Boomershine, need to find some momentum here in game number 1. 1480 is a monster number. It's a warlock, as they say at the Open Championships.
With great shots like that, Christy Leung wants to add her name to the conversation as well.
Teammates trying to take down the defending champs. can't keep it, at least keep it in the family.
Yeah, Lindsay has her name all over the Reno-Sparks Convention Center here. She's got, as we mentioned, they're bowling right above the all events scratch banner. And a few pairs to our left, we have the diamond results and the scratch doubles, so as well as the champions wall. She got that one wide early and then never didn't have quite enough to get back. Fortunate just to leave a 2-pin there. Current also light on 30, leaving the 2-8.
Boomershine continuing to struggle a little bit to strike here in game 1, but Christy Leong, story of the afternoon so far. 7 strikes and 8 frames. Her partner, Henning, striking as well. Just as I say that, a 9-pin stops her run.
Nice shot, Matt.
That's what I do, sir. There's a lot of pressure to step up and strike with the cameras on you. Certainly have to earn it here at the Women's Championships. That was a great shot, however. That shot, not so great by Henning. Fortunate to leave just a 3-pin. Boomershine continuing to talk to her husband, Hank. Get her lined up. They're going to spend all 6 games on this pair of lanes.
Of course, they had to follow, kind of look at the draw, whoever you end up following here for doubles and singles, unless you bowled a 7 a.m. So they were out here watching earlier. So we were watching Team EFX and World Cup Bowling Academy take the lanes. They were keeping an eye on 29 and 30 here. Seeing what those ladies were doing beforehand and worked on a game plan after that. Boomershine stepping up, frame number 9. It'll be interesting how they keep their pace here. Only 4 on a lane compared to 6. Having experienced that myself at the Open when I bowled earlier, it gets easy to get a little bit too fast and bowl and really never have any time to think and kind of step back and evaluate things. So we'll see how they pace themselves here throughout all 6 games.
Well, team play and communication big in the collegiate ranks. Elysia, no doubt, teaches that to her players now. Both her and Lindsay learned from 2 of the best coaches in the sport, Bill Straub and Gordon Vatican. So we just got the heads up from Boomershine. He's going to stop by in game 2. Come and chat with us. talk about what we're seeing out there. He's lane side, and he's certainly more of an expert on the technical side of things than we'll ever be combined.
Absolutely. Well, I will gladly take a break for a few minutes to so everyone can get Hanks inside here. We had one of his new employees with us not too long ago. Mike Flanagan stepped in for a few of our live stream broadcasts and helped out. So I'll be more than happy to hear Hank. That strike, Christie's going to be in the 250s. Looks like Henny is going to try something different on the fill ball here. Looked like she was using a disturbed as well. Looks like she's switching to a Defiant Soul, also from Roto-Grip. Great opening game. Christy Leong, 258. .433 start.
See if Baker can finish strong. She struck in the 9th.
Boomershine.
Boomershine, formerly Lindsay Baker. That's what it says right above her. Lindsay Baker, Brigham City, Utah.
She was still Lindsay Baker when she shot those scores.
It's a pretty cool story. I don't know, that one didn't make it into the yearbook or not, but the Women's Championships was actually winding down while they were at the altar. And folks at the wedding were keeping tabs on the last few games at the Women's Championships. And before the afternoon was over, just like that, she was a married woman and a 3-time champion at the Women's Championships. That is quite the afternoon, no doubt. That was a pretty spectacular party afterwards.
I would imagine. We can have Hank chime in on that as well when he steps in here pretty soon. So he watches Lindsay finish up game 1. Turn this into a pretty nice game with a big finish here in the 9th and 10th. These shall be in the 220s. Lindsay in the 2 teens. Looks like Lindsay's trying to ball change here as well on the fill. Almost believe it was the same move that Henny made. Into a Defiant Soul. 214.
Current goes high on her final shot. Leads to 610, 222. Here's a look at the scoreboard after game 1. 185 for Henning, 222 for Current. Leon 258 and Boomershine 214. So not a bad start at all. And they'll spend again all 6 games on this pair of lanes. Just getting settled in. That's 1 of 6 in the books. Get back to the action now. Leon stepping up on the left.
looking to keep that momentum going after the big start. Once again, she kicked off her 2013 event 6:36.
So here comes Hank Boomershine going to step in the booth here. Aaron Smith's going to step away for a few minutes. All right, we're now joined by Hank Boomershine, is it the VP of Marketing at Storm Products now?
VP of Sales and Marketing.
There you go. Always doing great things for the industry. Glad to have you here with us today.
Well, it's always fun to watch bowling.
And we're watching some great bowlers, of course. The missus.
Yep.
Lindsay Boomershine, the 3-time defending champ here at the Women's Championships, and Elysia Current. Last year they took home scratch and diamond doubles.
Yep.
And Lindsay came away with the scratch all events title as well. We were just actually talking about the wedding day. I know when I had the chance to talk to Lindsay about that, while you guys were getting married, some folks in the audience were keeping tabs on the leaderboards at the Women's Championships, and by the end of the afternoon, a married woman and a 3-time champ at the Women's Championships. Tell me about that day a little bit. That had to be a heck of a party.
Oh, it was a heck of a party. We had a great time. It was a nice little service. We had a lot of good friends with us, and yeah, Alex Aguiar and Rex Johnson and a few others were constantly looking at the website, seeing what was going on with live scoring and everything. And by the end of that day, yeah, it was a nice feeling to have for her to get those 3 titles, and then her and I to get married. It was a great day.
Well, and in talking to her, just about the wins, she said that kind of sparked things for her again as far as bowling. She might have went away from the game a little bit after college, and not so much for the ladies to bowl in, but the wins, reinvigorated her. She's
Sure.
doing a lot of bowling and some coaching. But what's the last year been like since you won and getting ready for this big title defense?
I tell you what, she is probably, if you want to compare in terms of the way she practices, a person like Ben Hogan was in golf. That's a very diligent practicer, want to stay on top of your game and bowl just about anything she can bowl in. And she has really stayed very, very focused this last year. And it's just unfortunate there's not as many opportunities to bowl as what the men have. And it's unfortunate the ladies tour doesn't have more to it instead of just the queens and the queens in the U.S. Open and some things here and there. But she does as much as she can, and she does bowl a lot of the men's tournaments too. It's ironic we bowl in the West, and she doesn't bowl many regionals or anything like that because it's a distance to travel in Utah. But we have a little Northwest tour, and she's made a couple of finals in those bowling against the men. So it's always fun. She doesn't really care about bowling against the men or the women or anything else. It's just she loves to bowl.
All right, now we saw you guys not too long ago here in Reno, once already for the USBC Open Championships. A little bit more of a challenge as far as lane conditions go, but how did that help in the preparation for coming out here today?
A lot of what we see today is a little bit more reminiscent of what we saw in doubles and singles over at the Open Championships. It was a lot in the team event, the 41-foot pattern, a little tighter, playing a little bit more parallel, and depends on who you bowl with. I mean, we saw Regals and the boys last week kind of chopped them up, too much wet dry, and then and you see it in terms of when we went to doubles and singles, this shot we see here is a lot more like doubles and singles, and so when we were trying to get her in terms of practicing, it was try to think that mentality like she did there, and she bowled pretty good there too. I think she shot like 1950 all events, which probably we all say it could have been more. There was pins left somewhere, but I think we just try to keep her with that same mentality that she had in doubles and singles coming here. Different surface, a little different pattern, a little different shape, but so far it's been pretty good.
Well, we had a pretty good start in team event yesterday. She shot 7-0. Had to feel good about that. And no doubt you guys talked a lot after that and coming in today. But what was the strategy going into doubles and singles today? We see the ball choice, very recognizable. Roto grip disturbed. We've seen that a lot this year from some great players. But what was the game plan for today?
Well, it's kind of like it's who was going to be in front of them. And we weren't sure if they were going to follow Paula Vidal and Team Effects or if they were going to be the pair to the right, and we come to find out they were a pair to the right. And then what we saw in team event from 29 and 30 and the squad before was a lot of ladies with polyester balls, a lot of very direct. And all I said to her was, you're probably going to be using the same ball you used last night. You're just going to see more hold down the lane. And that's what we've seen right from the beginning. Some of the other girls, Christy Long started out a really good game. First game shot in 250. She could stay a little farther right with a ball that would give her a little bit of hold, because the polyester balls don't peel the oil off the front as much, but they do push the oil to the back of the pattern a little bit more. And all of a sudden, she had a little bit better look. And then Lindsay was just trying to dial in. She had a couple of shots where she was still more on the front than she thought, so it shot through the front a little bit, and she got a little light a couple shots, but she looks like she's got it dialed in now. I just told her biggest thing now is just keep chasing it left and try to roll it off your hand, because if you try to make it hook down lane, you're going to get in trouble. And her and Elysia both looked pretty good right at the start. And like I said, Disturb's a great choice in terms of, a great bowling ball. Had a lot of success in a lot of places so far this year. But now she's got the look of the lane. She's chasing a little bit left. Elysia's doing the same thing. It should be a fun couple of games here.
Well, certainly looking forward to it. A lot of strikes on the board already here in Game 2. We'll let Elysia throw this shot, and then we'll take a look up at the scoreboard. And, of course, the championship banner hanging just above. Got to feel pretty good about that. Something new we've added here to the venue at the Women's Championships to give it that championship feel. This is the biggest stage in women's bowling, and the goal is to get your name on one of those banners. Lindsay, of course, lucky enough to get her name on almost all of them. So it's going to look pretty good hanging up at the house or at the storm plant or somewhere when this is all over.
I was trying to figure out where that would fit, and she's like, we'll make it fit. I said, okay, we'll make it fit. That's no problem. But it's neat. It's nice. I was talking to Eric yesterday, and he said that, at the end he said, I'll send those to you up at the storm plant. I said, that'd be great. I'll send Elysia the doubles banner, and we'll put this banner up either at Storm or we'll put it up, find somewhere in the house. We got a basement that's got a lot of memorabilia in it, and I think I got a hallway, a wall going down to the basement. It might fit. If not, we'll maybe fold it up, make it work.
Well, got some nice trophies as well.
Sure.
To go along with some other great accomplishments. Of course, you guys are now high on the list for recognition as the first bowling family.
Well, it is fortunate. It's a lot of things and a lot of years in this sport, and I feel very humbled every time I walk into a building and people say hi to me and her, and do nothing but try to give as much back to the sport as we can.
Now, talk a little bit about the opportunity that these ladies have to come and bowl these two great events in one host city. It's the first time that's ever happened. It's going to happen again next year. Throw the Queens in the mix as well. I'm sure there's a lot of talk, a lot of buzz, from this team and many others just about the chance to come out and do all of that bowling in one exciting week. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's ironic because Lindsay's she's the planner. She's a really good planner, and it was she's already got the dates built for next year. She's going to have two teams and bowl the day or two prior to the Queens start, and then bowl the Queens that week. It's tough for me though. I'll be at Bowl Expo in Orlando, coming from Orlando straight to Reno to watch them bowl. So, but she's ready to go. She's already got the two teams put together, and it's looking like a pretty good bunch of teams. She's going to actually bring a Hall of Famer onto the other team as well too. Tish Johnson's going to bowl with them next year as well. So it looks like Kelly Callahan and Tish Johnson are going to bowl with them. It looks like it's going to be Elysia. Looks like it's Elysia Lindsay, and then Tish Johnson, and we're trying to figure out the fourth, and then the other team. So it's going to be a fun. Looks like next year's going to be a fun tournament for them.
Always nice to have a left-hander in the mix and a Hall of Famer at that. So again, I'll talk to a lot of ladies so far today. Looking forward to that opportunity. and a lot of great events also over at the National Bowling Stadium. The Bowlers Journal Championships, sponsored by Storm, presented by USBC. A great opportunity to get a handle on the lane conditions for doubles and singles over there. And then 2 more events downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase lanes. How much of that did you guys take advantage of first time around?
Well, Lindsay bowled a little bit of that. And the one thing with me was I'm fighting arthritis in the left wrist, me being left-handed. So I did all I could just to bowl 9 games in the Open Championships. I was unfortunately had to be medicated because until I got an injection after Nationals. So I didn't participate in any side events. It was just too much for me. I was just hoping to complete 9 games. And Lindsay bowled a little bit of side action. She wants to bowl a little bit of side action because we're not leaving until Monday. So she's going to bowl a little side action at Bowler's Journal and maybe bowl a little bit with Elysia as well. So she's going to try to take advantage of that before we leave this time.
All right, well, things certainly unfolding nicely here in game number 2. Lindsay with the front 5 now, and Elysia with a spare 3-bagger, looking for 4 in a row here. And that goes down no problem. What's the difference here between game 1 and 2 as the lanes transition a little bit more? What's happening out there?
Biggest thing we see the front you're starting to see the track develop in the front of the lane. Like I said, you had a lot of ladies that bowled before them, had a lot of polyester balls, and not as much. A lot of them are right to left angles. So you don't see like you see on 27-28 where the fronts did break apart a lot earlier. So now this 29 and 30 is starting to develop, the track's starting to develop in the front of the lane, and you got hold down the lane. So now you've got a little bit of hook in the front to redirect the ball, and then down lane, if you get it in a little bit, it'll hold. If you get a little right early, the track picks up in the front. So it's a little bit, it's starting to come in right in, dials right in for them. And hopefully they can keep making the change. And you got 4 good bowlers bowling together. That's the greatest part of any tournament is you get a chance, if you got 4 bowlers that understand everybody's strengths and they make the adjustments and make the moves with the team, it plays to a great advantage to all bowlers really on the pair.
Well, just like the Open Championships now, all 6 games will be contested on the same pair of lanes, so they have the opportunity to break them down a little bit more to their liking.
Yeah.
And as things progress, you kind of have that in mind when you make your ball selection, I'm sure, and to have a good idea. We saw a lot of ball changes in our team event earlier. They said maybe they didn't come out with the best strategy. There's a great break for Current there. She rolls the 2-pin. But perhaps
just like Walter Ray, just the best at rolling a 2-pin.
Yeah, I think one of the factors here too is the new oil that we're seeing, the Kegel Fire.
Right.
And it's a little slicker than we've seen in the past with the Kegel Infinity that we used, and maybe something that they're not keeping in mind when they come out in the team event. Maybe not starting with enough surface for sure to break it down when they're getting a little more skid than they thought they would early on, and then making a change later. So you certainly got to have a pretty solid game plan coming in and stick with it, of course. But I think also with not having fresh oil for doubles and singles, with that oil holding up a little bit better, you're going to see a little different look than you might have in the past here for doubles and singles also. Absolutely.
I mean, and Kegel does a great job of doing a tremendous amount of R&D on oils and balls and everything else. It's one of those things. This truly is a testament of, they always talk about bowling balls being ahead of oils and lane oils trying to catch up with bowling balls, and Kegel does a great job at doing a lot of research and development on that. And we actually send in bowling balls to test against the lane oils and things like that. So, this is something different. I mean, we got Fire and Ice at Storm a couple of months ago because we're one of the test facilities for Kegel as well too, and we did a lot of testing on it as well too, just to kind of see the differences in what we saw. And it is a totally different look. And the biggest thing I noticed was in years past, you look at the way you throw a shot down the lane, the ball comes back out by the ball return. You got your oil on the bowling ball, and a lot of times by the end of that, by the time you come up to throw your next shot, the oils are either been absorbed into the ball, or it's evaporated somewhat. The thing I noticed about both Fire and Ice is that it does stay on the ball longer. So which means the anti-static agents or the things that they're using to try to make a different type of oil that's going to stay there definitely looks like it stays, and the pattern stays a little bit longer than you think, and you do need to use a little bit more surface than you'd ever imagine. We ran into it at the Open Championships in the team event. One of our bowlers, president of the company, Dave Sims, he could use some more surface on his bowling ball during a team event, and had got some advice from somebody. Oh no, you don't need any more service, and it actually hurt us a little bit because he bowled great. Just unfortunately, he couldn't get his ball to pick up in the right spot. And then in doubles and singles, he made some surface adjustments and bowled really good.
Well, speaking of bowling really well here, Lindsay Boomershine with the front 7 here in game 2. Looking a lot more comfortable than game 1. Everything falling into place, as you said. Elysia Current now looking for 6 in a row as well after a spare in frame number 1.
Yeah, just both of these girls, the nicest thing about it is they work really well off each other, and they talk to each other a lot about what's going on. All four of these girls on this pair, they communicate a lot. I mean, you watch Lindsay and Chrissy having a conversation about what's going on. Who knows if it's bowling, but it looks bowling related. And Kalina bowled at Nebraska a year or two while Lindsay bowled at Nebraska as well too. And then Elysia bowled in college the same time that Lindsay did as well. So you got a lot of history with all the girls on this pair.
Well, and the key to collegiate bowling, of course, is the team communication. That's what they do, especially at Nebraska and Wichita State. Farley Dickinson and now Elysia teaching that to her bowlers at Delaware State.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to communicate every shot. I mean, you never know. You know, it's obviously an invisible opponent that you have in the oil, but it's always moving, and you have to talk to your leadoff bowler, especially when you're switching lanes, to get an idea what's happening out there. And it certainly helps when the styles are similar. They know each other's games as well as they appear to. That's probably what they're talking about right now. Is why Elysia just left that 10 pin on the right lane, perhaps, or they're talking about how awesome we look sitting up here in the booth talking about it. Not sure.
I haven't seen her look back yet, so I don't think they're paying attention to us, but that's okay. Yeah, and the collegiate bowling experience is such a foundation for a lot of these players. Me being a former collegiate bowler as well too. I'll throw a shout out to my alma mater, which was West Texas State. Now it's West Texas A&M. I got the fortunate pleasure to bowl with a lot of great bowlers in my tenure there at West Texas, and got the chance to help a few before I finished up with a master's degree out of West Texas. So yeah, collegiate bowling is a great experience. Back in the day, for me, I'll age myself a little bit. 88 to 92, I bowled in college. We didn't have as many of these opportunities of ball changes. We were lucky to have two ball bags when we went to a tournament, and it was a couple of urethane balls, maybe one reactive ball, and a plastic ball. So now we're in the modern generation of bowling. It's a lot about having the right equipment, having the right ball choices, and making the right decisions. Oh no! Come on.
There's a terrible break for Lindsay on lane 30. After the front 7, she leaves a 7-10. 7 almost cooperated, but
well, at least she can laugh it off. She's laughing it off right now. She always jokes about, I'm going to have like 6 or 7 in a row, and I got to have a 7-10 somewhere. So at least she got it early, and not like the front 9 or 10 and leaving a 7-10. That would be insult to injury, I think.
Well, it certainly was a decent shot, and she appears to be lined up. So that's the best you can do. That's all you can ask for, is to get it to the pocket and hope that things fall your way.
Yeah, and you're not going to bounce any 7-10s out on these Brunswicks with those hanging carpets in the back. Anytime a pin hits it, it's like going into a quicksand. It just kind of dies coming off the back of the deck. So I've only ever seen 1 or 2 people ever bounce any pins out of the back on the Brunswicks with the hanging carpets. And actually one of them was the lady Tiffany Stambro. I remember Queens, probably, man, that had to be 12, 13 years ago. She spared the big 4 in the stadium. And we were all in awe when that happened. So, yeah, it's hard to bounce pins out of the back in this place.
Well, speaking of the Brunswick installation, of course, Brunswick, the official lane provider at the Open Championships and the Women's Championships now here in the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. What do you think of this venue? It's kind of what we see at the Open Championships, a little smaller scale, a little more ladylike. But what do you think coming in here?
Well, Brunswick always does a great job in all these installs, and the USBC does a great job in trying to put it all together. And it is a great venue. It's always nice to see the opportunity for the ladies to bowl in a nice venue. And And I know in years past we used to bowl in bowling centers. And you'd sequester a bowling center somewhere in the country, and you'd have the tournament there. And it's nice to see them in convention centers like this. And the USBC really always stepping forward to try to help ladies bowling. And we'd love to see a few more teams come out. Love to see a few more participation from the ladies. But, economy's kind of tough sometimes, and so it's you got to pick and choose where you want to go. And we just love to see these ladies come out and bowl a little bit more of these national tournaments.
Well, we're certainly not going anywhere. The schedule filled out for the next decade or so. We talked about that earlier. We're headed to back here next year at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center and into the National Bowling Stadium in 2015. But then we hit the road. Las Vegas had a fantastic new venue at South Point.
Back-to-back 710s.
Uh-oh. That one doesn't look as funny as the first one, however.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? That's very unfortunate. Well, she's trying to keep her composure. That's very unfortunate. We'll just have to. At this point, you're kind of speechless. You're like, wow, the first one was a bad break. The second one was.
Hey, that shot was even better than the first one.
It was, yes.
So she'll get one again. And she'll be heading into the 10th frame on back-to-back 710s. Elysia Current.
That kind of puts a 40-pin shuffle right down the drain there.
Well, it's going to take 1,400 plus again to get to the top of the standings.
Yeah, I saw the 1440s leading it, looks like.
That's actually at the Open.
I thought it was 1440 here, too.
Aaron Smith is our stats guy. He might have the pile of paperwork here. We'll take a look, see what we can find. So in the meantime, we'll turn our attention to Henning and Leung striking away here on 29 and 30.
Yeah, Kalina made the ball change actually from the end of the first game to the second game. She went from a disturbed to a defiant soul. Bowled really well this game. Had the one bad shot. Looks like bad shot in the 8th. 7th, 8th, yep.
All right, so we have our scratch doubles leaders right now. Carrie Caduto and Tina Becky from Illinois, 1409.
1409.
And in the diamond doubles, 1443 is the number on top there. So certainly going to take a few strikes. And it looks like at this point, both teams trying to give it a run here in 2013.
Yeah, Christy starts out with 250 the first game. Looks like she's shooting another big game the second game, and then Kalina starts with a little a struggle the first game. Looks like she's going to blow a big game second game here. So yeah, these two, this pair, both of them on pace to shoot some big numbers here. Just depends on Carrie, and hopefully the Carrie that Lindsay has doesn't continue like that.
Well, we saw some carry struggles earlier in our team event. Dana Miller-Mackey from the left side left a whole bunch of 7 pins and a lot of flat 10 pins for the righties. And again, it's really what it comes down to. This 40-foot oil pattern, certainly not the most challenging. It's not quite sport compliant, and it's not a house shot though. So somewhere in between, still have to make good shots. But a lot of it does come down to getting the breaks, getting the carry. And we'll see if Lindsay can get back on track here after the back-to-back 710s.
Yeah, we'll hope for a big finish here. Shoot 240, which could easily have been 270. Atta girl. Big strike. At least she can smile about it. It always makes it interesting. Elysia steps up here in the 10th, and Elysia, great bowler. A lot of knowledge. She brings a lot of knowledge to coaching these girls now in college.
Well, I don't know what it's like personally, but I would imagine there's probably a little less pressure this year coming in with 3 titles already. Yes, she's the defending champ, but the pressure of getting that first one is certainly long gone. Get out there and have a good time, be a little more relaxed, and anything on top of that I would think is gravy. And, both ladies still very young, so a long way to go in their careers for sure.
Yeah, they were joking about it. They were doing trying to figure brackets out before we got started today. And they were going through the bracket sheet, and they got to the century doubles. And they joked with each other, oh, well, we can't bowl in that. And then Elysia goes, well, we got 20-something years. Maybe we can bowl. She goes, are we still going to be bowling together? And Lindsay said, well, I hope so.
Absolutely. Still very young and very talented. Long, long way to go. The Women's Championship's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'd like to see them get together at the Open Championships as well, perhaps, and make a run at that, as we talked about. That opportunity certainly possible next year with both events in the same city and the Queens as well. So if they can put together some all-women's teams, we might see a lot of the best players trying to get it done out there.
Well, it might be kind of tough. Lindsay's been bowling on the Storm team with us the last 2 years. And unless we get Elysia on the Storm team that bowls with us, it might be a little tricky. So, yeah, that's we usually bowl the Storm team, which is a bunch of the guys that work at Storm and salesmen that work on the road. We got Tyler Jensen and Chris Sand, Dave Sims, and we used to bowl with a boss man in last probably 10 years. Bill Chrisman bowled with us, but he kind of threw us under the bus for a couple of other debutantes. I should say not debutantes, important people. Stu Upson and Steve Johnson and Frank DeSocia and Jeff Boget. They bowl the opening day of the tournament, so he bowls with all the prestigious people. He kind of jokes with us. He goes, I haven't dissed you guys. I haven't thrown you out. He said, but you know, I like bowling with these guys. It's nice to bowl with Steve and Stu and be in that experience. He said, but I know that I've got no chance of winning anything with them, and I do with you guys. So it's kind of like I'm torn. I have fun with them, and I feel too much pressure when I bowl with you guys because you guys want me to bowl good, and they just have fun.
All right, well, hopefully these four women are having fun today. Everybody in the 240s, game number 2, game 3. Underway.
That would have been nice in team event last night. Yeah, they bowled 31.55 in team event last night, and there was a lot of pins left on the table just in carry. I mean, Christy Leong, I think she shot 630 and bowled 30 clean, and I know the ladies tournament I don't think they have a 30 clean pot like we do at the Open Championships. So that would have been a nice little payday. So it just looks like now we're starting the front of the lane is starting to open up a little bit more. So Lindsay's going to make another ball change. Well, her first ball change. She's going to move a little bit, probably a little bit more left, and this is a Defiant Soul, just like last night. And what it does is it just gets through the front a little bit more and gives her a little bit more motion down lane. Because Disturbed in the layout that we use in Disturbed, which is a little bit, it's a 5x3x4 layout she was using in Disturbed. It's just starting to peel up a little bit off the front, so it's just starting to roll a little bit too soon, which makes her angles force open a little bit too much. And I think that's part of the reason for the 710 is when you get too much angle, the ball picks up and then doesn't want to roll through the back as much. It just doesn't roll through the pins as in the right shape. I mean, it gets there, it gets to the pocket, but we all know that this game's become a battle of carry. It really is a battle of carry. So we make a ball change here to a ball that's going to go through the front a little bit more, read the middle of the lane and the back of the lane a little bit more, that's what a Defiant Soul is going to do for her. And Alicia's got another ball change here. If it looks like that she's made another, same thing she ran into last night was where the ball starts to pick up off the front and then she moves too much and it doesn't give her enough roll down lane. So she made a ball change to a ball that's going to give her a little more length through the front and give it just that a little more mids and back roll. And modern bowling, that's what it's come to. And you'll see a lot of different, in the past was people make a lot of differences and changes with their roll, hand positions, and modern bowling's gone a lot more to stay consistent and do the same thing with your hand every shot and then make the ball changes accordingly. Kind of like golf. If I'm 100 yards out, I'm going to hit a sand wedge. If I'm 180 yards out, I'm going to hit a 6-iron. I'm not going to try to hit a sand wedge 180 yards.
Now, is this something that you guys talked about earlier, kind of trying to predict how the lanes were going to break down and what the game plan was, what to go to?
Yeah, and it's like I was talking to Lindsay, and I was actually talking to Christy Leong's boyfriend, trying to figure out the game plan. Is it just like, hey, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. If we go from here, we're going to go to this one. We're going to make the move to this, and Lindsay's, she's brought 8 balls to the tournament, and it's that thing is, I say this is 1 and this is 8, and you're going to make your progression through. Kind of like, the days when I was a tour rep and working with some of the best in the world, like Pete Weber and Robert Smith, back when I was a tour rep, and those guys, it would be like, hey, okay, here's where you're starting, here's where you're going to go to, and we're just going to work our way through the transgression through these balls, and that's what we've kind of done today. And it's the same thing Elysia was talking about before we started. She goes, I probably should have made a move last night to the other ball, and that's what she switched to right here in this third game.
So far, that decision looking really good. Those are 2 fantastic shots from Lindsay. Elysia also starts with a double. Christy starts with a double, and Henning spare strike. So the numbers through 2 right now. Christy the Young, 258, 248. And Kalina Henning, 185, 246. They're at 937 after 2. Elysia Curran and Lindsay Boomershine, 927 after 2. So it's going to take 472 for Henning and Leung to get to the lead right now in scratch doubles, which is 1409, or 482 for Curran and Boomershine to get back to the top of the standings. So 10 pins separate these 2 teams, both making a run at it here. It's going to be an exciting game 3.
It'd be nice for a couple little 500 sets out of these two doubles teams. It'd be fun to watch. They do have the potential here that the pattern's breaking down just into the right spot, and it's really going to come down to, I think, carry.
Well, we do appreciate everybody joining us here. This is Matt Canizaro and Hank Boomershine from Storm Products. We're at the 2013 USBC Women's Championships. We're watching them defending Diamond and Scratch doubles champs. Try to get it done here on lanes 29 and 30 at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. The second half of our exciting doubleheader here at the Women's Championships. So thank you for being here, and let's see if Elysia Curran can make it 3 in a row here in game number 3. She does not get the 10 pin to cooperate. Elysia, it looks like, throwing his deviate equipment here, while Lindsay has Storm and Roto Grip in her hands.
Yeah, just looked like she might have got her wrist around that one a little bit, just a little early, which creates a little lazy look down the lane, which still gets to the pocket, but just doesn't roll through the pins, just like in the last 2 shots. So just get up here and shoot a routine spare. Yeah, and it's just like we saw last night a little bit in the same in the same move Lindsay made into the last game. She would switch to a Defiant Soul. She switched to the Defiant Soul last game and still kept bowling really well. And like I said last night, is same thing. It's just trying to get the ball to carry. You can get to the pocket, just trying to get him to fall down. I talked to Paula Vidal and I talked to Erin Lenahan and a couple of girls that came off a 27-28 at our team event. It's the same thing they said. It's there's probably 100 pins they left out there just in bad care. And I talked to Christina Kinney, and she had 2 opens in that team set. One was a 7-10, the other was 4-9, the 10th of that last game. And it's just unfortunate. We can all look back on our days of bowling somewhere and talk about, oh yeah, I remember that one that got me here and the one that got me there. It's just half of the battle and winning something is catching a few breaks and knocking some pins down in some spots you really didn't think you were going to knock them down.
Well, I think it all does even out, especially, there's going to be a break to bounce out one of those 7-10s, perhaps. That's what the sport's all about. That's what it takes.
Yeah, you got to catch a few breaks in some right spots. Yeah, and the thing with even with the PBA these days and the summer series and what they're doing is this 10 games, and then it's like a sprint. These guys sprint for 10 games to try to make the top 24, and then they get about 16 games of match play, which once again gives the time for the great players, the ones who are the shot makers, to get to the top. And we saw that on this last, I guess it was on the Wolf pattern, and one of the greatest in the world at playing them out, Norm Duke. He kind of qualified somewhere in the middle of the pack, and then he went running through the field like he should. The one I was kind of shocked at was Walter Ray. I thought Walter Ray bowled a little better on that. But Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes started off really well to start as well too, and then kind of faded a little bit going into match play, which did kind of caught me off guard as well too. So it's nice to see that they're doing this a little different in the summer series. They put a couple of new patterns in place, and it's nice to see that as well too.
Well, a lot of exciting formats and different events, not just here in Reno, but everywhere. So moves being made for sure in the bowling world. A little something for everybody. We know as soon as we wrap up here in Reno in early July, the senior championship's coming our way right before July 4th. And then we're headed to Ohio for the U.S. Open, a combined U.S. Open. The men and women bowling together in Columbus.
Back to my home state.
And then we'll head to Las Vegas for the Senior World Championships, then the combined men's and women's World Championships. Then we'll stick around for the USBC Queens. So a lot happening in the next few months, a lot happening on lane 29 as Boomershine starts with 4 in a row. And a lot of strikes being thrown here in game 3. And 472 and 482, the numbers they need to make it to the top of the leaderboard. But it's getting to the point where it's going to be who's going to get there.
Yeah, it looks like both of these teams got a chance to jump to the top there. It'd be fun to see them go 1-2, coming off the same pair, and 2 doubles teams working together, because you see the changes they're making and the moves they're making. They're doing a lot of talking, so it would be fun to see.
Well, right now in the scratch standings, 1409 is the number on top. 1355 is second. So 1-2 certainly possible at this point. And then 1443 and 1436, the top 2 in the diamond double standings. I'm not sure that any of these players are going to be getting any handicap.
No, yeah, I think Elysia came in averaging 248 or something in league this year.
Gotta shake that off. They came in last year, shot 1480 scratch, and got the scratch doubles title. Tied for the top spot in diamond doubles with 0 pins of handicap.
Well, that's a nice little start there, front 5.
Looks like the strategy certainly paying off, being able to progress from one ball to the next, knowing when to do so. Of course, part of the challenge. Everybody comes to these events with bags and bags of bowling balls. You're allowed to have 8 at the Open Championships, and probably just the same number here. So it's a matter of knowing when to use them and how. As there's one of those breaks we talked about, as the 4-pin goes late for current.
Yeah, and that's that spot. You need that. Trip 4 creates a double, and that's, you go from staying at 2-0 pace, they can put you right in the 220 pace right there. So that definitely, it's one of those spots. Yeah, and it's nice to have that progression. It's nice to know when to make that change. It's easier for me to sit back here and look at that and see that and know that. I mean, I ran into it myself at the Open Championships this year, and in singles, I started off a pretty good game. The first game, shot 240 out of the gate. Kind of went through the second game, shot 2-0, and finally it took, I kind of knew it, but it's hard to, once again, you can't always see yourself from 10 feet. You can't feel it, what the change is. And one of my partners, one of my teammates, Chris Sand, said to me, he said, hey, anytime you want to make a ball change, it's don't hesitate.
Well, that's
so it's kind of like, hey, yeah, I need to make that change.
That's what teammates are for. It's an extra set of eyes. Like you said, you can't always see how the ball's reacting for you from the back here. It's certainly a nice vantage point for us back here. But you guys in the manufacturing, you guys make it easy. You come out with the ball, it's great, solid. Come out with the pearlized version. There's your natural progression. Maybe not at the championship level, but certainly for other bowlers,
sure.
It just makes it a little bit simpler. Go from one to the other, and especially on a house condition.
Yep.
It gets you an idea. It gets you thinking about how things are supposed to work, and then as you increase your your level of play, you fit in some other balls in there, and
sure.
There you go.
Yeah, and a lot of this is relying on having a good pro shop operator, good coach that can kind of get you dialed in those situations. And I urge a lot of those bowlers. They ask me. We get a lot of feedback and a lot of questions from players. Solid 9. It's an unfortunate break. A lot of questions coming through, to Storm and Rotogrip into our tech department about equipment and changes and getting lined up. And a lot of times we always say, hey, make sure you visit an IPSI certified pro shop to make sure that you're getting the things you need. And because a lot of those IPSI certified pro shops have the knowledge and the certifications to make sure that you have the right tools to play the game. Well, at least you can laugh off the solid 9. So once again, it's about catching a break here and there.
Well,
at least the 4-pin didn't stand.
This certainly is something that we'll talk about in our recap after they're done bowling today. There's 3 shots that potentially they'll never forget in their title defense here. We talked about they're certainly very young. There are many opportunities down the road, but right now it's their first shot as the defending champions, and 2 7-10s and a 9-pin there. That's a lot of pins.
Yeah, you're looking at a couple of 7-10s and the solid 9. You're looking at 50 pins between those, and possibly 60 between those 3. So we'll just, once again, you can't get it back. It's water under the bridge. You just got to keep moving forward, keep making good shots, and just hope for the best.
Well, Henning moving forward here with the spare 6-bagger to start game number 3.
Yeah, she looks like she just keeps chasing it left too. It's about every 3 frames. It's like maybe a 1-board move with your feet, and then it maybe a 2-and-1 after that. But it just looks like, from me watching them to start to finish, it's that they just keep cheating left.
Well, they do have 3 more games on this pair of singles coming up next. We're just about halfway through the second part of today's live stream doubleheader at the Women's Championships. Elysia Current working on a 3-bagger now, stepping up on lane 29, and Boomershine will step up on the right, looking to bounce back from a stone 9-pin.
Yeah, another 10-pin there. Good shot off her hand. It just looks like it picks up just a little bit in the middle of the lane. Doesn't want to continue as much down the lane, so you just kind of get that half 10 look. So she's either going to have to make another little move left to keep the ball from picking up as early, so it gives a little bit more roll down lane. Yeah, it looks like Lindsay kept in the oil a little too long, and then she leaves at kind of the half 10 as well too.
The flat dime, we call it here in the live stream booth. So we're looking at 2 10-pins here on this pair of lanes. No doubt there's another move coming here pretty soon, as you mentioned. It's interesting, 2 left-handers sitting in the booth trying to talk about right side lane transition, but certainly you know your stuff, and I've seen enough to know that something's coming up here next. But it's just a matter of when. Do you do it? Do you do it now, or do you play it safe and get as many pins as you can here at the end of doubles, and then make your move for singles? Interesting to find out.
No, I think you go ahead and make the move, because you have to be in this situation. You have to be a little bit aggressive, because you've got to make sure that you got to get the carry, you got to get the count, and sometimes you do have to make a little more aggressive moves. If you kind of hang in the same spots, you kind of get that. You can get 9, but 9's not going to win. So you got to make the move to try to get that, try to strike more.
Oh, it's all about being brave. We talk about that at the Open a lot. There seems to be a moment, a cliff at somewhere at the end of game 2 for doubles especially, where teams just are moving along, and then the wheels kind of fall off. So at that point, you know it's coming almost, and you have to be brave and make a big move, and either it's going to pay off amazingly and you're going to win doubles, or it's going to fail miserably and you're not going to end up very well off. But you have to be brave, like you said, be aggressive, make that move, because 9 spare is not going to win it.
No, and we saw that this last week. We had a new team take over doubles, the doubles lead, and they I guess they got a big break on a split, making a spare, and then a couple of strikes in some key spots, and they took over the doubles lead this week.
Well, they stayed calm under pressure, and they made the big shots when they needed to down the stretch. There's a great shot from Lindsay. Leaves it ring 10.
Yeah, that was a very good shot. Starting to get, once again, starting to get a little bit of push, and because she chased it left, you could tell she chased it left, and then it came off the spot very hard. A lot of angle down lane for a ring 10 versus kind of a half 10. This is kind of the hard decision right here, is which way do we go here?
Good break for Current. Lucky to leave just the 2-pin there.
Yeah, she gets a little farther right. She's trying to get it to hook up, just to bounce off the spot a little bit more, and she goes a little bit through it, and ends up with just a 2-pin. Could easily been a 2-10. So just hope she saw that sign language from the booth. I was giving her a little sign language down there to Lindsay.
Well, I believe that the ball change earlier, I thought that was all telepathic, to be honest with you, because it just seemed to happen. But obviously, you guys talked about that earlier. And
yeah,
And
Yeah, I talked about it before I came up into the booth. I said, hey, you're going to have to make that move to that Defiant Soul. And I said, you can either do it right now, starting in this game, in that second game, or you can wait a couple more frames. But if it was me, I would go ahead and make that change to Defiant Soul right now. And she did, and it looks pretty good. And once again, she's had some unfortunate breaks here for a couple frames in a row here, but hopefully she can roll a few shots off her hand and catch a few breaks and finish out strong here, because 2 frames to go. Both teams look pretty solid right here.
Well, here's Henning working on 7 in a row, now 8. Starts this game with a spare, and she's working on 290 here.
Big break last frame where she kind of got it left off her hand, and then it ended up going right through the face and kind of getting a tumbler strike, which we love to have that break too.
Leon's going to step up on the right, 258, 248. Striking a lot here in game 3 as well. They're 9:37 after 2, need 472 for the scratch lead.
Looks good, another strike. Let's see if Elysia can kind of roll a little bit more, see if we can get it to roll through the pins a little bit more. I know that she's made some really good shots here. Both Lindsay and Elysia both made some great shots here. We'll just hope catch some good breaks here. Another half 10.
That's 3 consecutive 9 counts for Curran. She definitely looks frustrated. Let's see if Boomershine can pick her up here. Working on 3 spares of her own.
Another 10 pin. Yeah, this is where the frustration starts to set in, because she's almost at the end of this ball as well too. It's going to be a time to make a ball change. So once we get into the 10th frame here, I'm going to bail out on you, Matt. I'm going to go down and make a couple of suggestions on what to make the ball change here in the 10th.
See if we can finish strong here in the title defense and potentially keep the doubles title in the family here. Keep it on the team. Leon's going to step up on the left first, working on a double.
Gets a little right. Oh, come on. Just a little right early. See if you can make a 2-0 here and just make the same shot and see if we can get a little break here and knock the 5 into the 7. Come on, Kalina. Yeah, Kalina was a late pickup actually on the team here. She wasn't bowling this year, and we had Lindsay had another teammate that got an injured shoulder, and Lindsay called up Kalina probably about 4 weeks ago and said, "Hey, can you bowl?" And she's like, "Yeah." So in a matter of about 7 days, she had booked a flight, coming out, got a hotel, and next thing you know, it looks like she might take the lead here in some doubles. Big break, come on, roll it. Good.
What is that Henning is throwing? Is that the...
She's throwing a Defiant Soul. It is and I drilled these balls for her this week before I left Storm, and I actually drove them over from Utah for her. And we changed the surface from last night to today. It had 3,000 on it, and I put a little bit of step 2 on it from Storm, put a little shine on it, so get a little more through the front and give her a little more motion down lane. And it's a 3.5 by 4.5 by 1. That's the layout. For those of you who want to know, you can always email me at stormbowling.com and I'll tell you all about that.
Well, obviously it's working out. She's 1 shot away from filling out some paperwork here at the 2013 Women's Championships. 290 with 1 more shot.
And Lindsay leaves another 10 pin. Yeah, it's frustrating. I tell you what, you get to the pocket, and that's where she keeps making that adjustment, trying to get the ball to strike, and it's unfortunate that Yeah, a little 290, little 11 in a row award. Big set, 721. That's a nice finish. So that's a little 1439. It looks like, if I can do my math right. That looks like a little scratch lead there.
There it is. You're absolutely correct. 1439, new scratch leaders. We'll see if Current and Boomershine can finish strong here.
Now she's going to make a ball change here in the 10th. I kind of gave her the flag to see if she'd make that change to. So we're going to see an IQ Tour Pearl go down the lane. This is the next progression in bowling balls. Elysia throws a great shot there on the right lane. Let's get her to finish out. We're still going to bowl a pretty high set here.
Aaron Smith's going to have his hands full this evening.
Yeah.
He's going to write a monster of a story. Of course, the title defense for Boomershine and Current, and our new doubles leader so far.
And it ring tens. So starting with the front 5 and then 4 10-pins out of the last 5 frames. One more here. Great shot, Elysia. Great shot. So yeah, Lindsay's little 230 game could easily have been about 260 right there. So once again, just talk about catching the breaks in the right spots. So shoot a little 690. Elysia's going to shoot a little 7-0. So they'll shoot a little 1400 set again this year. It looks like.
You got to feel good about that, coming in as a defending champs and putting up 1400 again. Final shot of doubles here.
Oh, big break.
A couple of extra pins for the standings there.
So they'll come up a little bit short of 1400, shoot a little 1397. Still great bowling. I mean, a couple of breaks could have easily been 1450, 1460 in terms of catching some carries. So they bowled great. So, well, Matt, I'm going to run back down, chat with the girls a little bit. I see, try to get Lindsay some carry, and I appreciate you letting me have a chance to chat a little bit on TV here. And thanks again for all that you do.
Absolutely, Hank Boomershine. Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. Hank's going to step away, and Aaron Smith will step back in here in a minute. Looking forward to singles action coming up next here at the 2013 USBC Women's Championships. We'll have singles for you in just 1 second. We didn't get a chance to look at the final scoreboard there. Everything flipped pretty quickly, going right into singles now. But 1439, Kalina Henning and Christy Leong, the new scratch doubles leaders here at the USBC Women's Championships. So great bowling to them. The defending champs, Lindsay Boomershine and Elysia Current, came up a little bit short. They're actually going to move into third place now in scratch doubles with 1397. So we'll have singles underway in just a minute. All right, Aaron Smith is back in the booth, and by my quick calculations, it appears that Henning and Leong also now leading diamond doubles. At my calculations, it would be 18 pins of handicap per game for a diamond total of 1493. They shot 1439 scratch. And the diamond doubles, combined averages of 360 or greater. Handicap is 100% of 440. And Aaron Smith will have that verification for us here in just a second as the singles about to get started. So we'll see if Henning and Leong can carry the momentum through from doubles. 1439 scratch. Henning finished with 290. Aaron's going to have some paperwork later on for 721, and Leong right behind her at 718. All right, looks like Aaron Smith has a different calculation. There was an average change at the last minute. So, Aaron, what do we have as our final numbers?
Oh, yeah. Kalina actually was, we originally thought it was 210, and we currently have her at 214. So that changes it a little bit. Drops a few pins, so they'll actually be unofficially at 1481 based off the most recent update we've received as far as their averages are concerned, but still more than enough to grab both leads. And
how about that? Last year their teammates shot 1480 scratch,
which was enough.
It was enough to win scratch and a share of the diamond doubles title, and now one pin better. So you got to feel pretty good going into singles knowing that you just took the lead in both doubles events, and again, if you can't keep it on your team. So congratulations to them. And I know they've been talking through some ball changes and some things, trying to get lined up for singles. So far, 3 out of 4 have struck here.
Henning has the that ends her run, but she found the Verapapa 300 as well. So we've seen 2 of those today.
Well, Mr. Verapapa would be proud.
He certainly would.
And he'd be proud of this venue here at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. This is Matt Cannizzaro and Aaron Smith back in the booth here for our final 3 games of today's live stream doubleheader. Earlier today, we saw an exciting team event, the Classic Styles, USBC Hall of Famers Dana Miller-Mackey and Lucy Sandlin, former Senior Queens champion Paula Vidad, very talented group of 10 bowlers in the team event. And then we turned our attention 1 pair to the right for the defending doubles and all events champions, Elysia Current, Lindsay Boomershine. So no shortage of excitement here at the 2013 Women's Championships. New doubles leaders and perhaps some fireworks in singles as well. Aaron's going to have a recap of that for us later tonight on bowl.com. And I'll be working on all the news and notes from the Open Championships, a couple 300 games over there as well. So looking forward to telling the world about what's been happening out here in Reno. So many exciting bowling opportunities.
Busy indeed, and we can't forget about all events as well, Matt. Lindsay and Elysia nearly identical. Lindsay 1395 through 6. Alicia's got her by 1, 1396. So how about that? While we were doing numbers, Elysia actually picked up the 6-7-10 in the first frame. She's going to need more of that magic here on lane 30 for the 5-7.
Well, what's it going to take to get us to the top of the all-event standings today as well?
Looking at the scratch portion, Joey Biondo, we talked about her a little bit earlier, 2059. They have a very big number to shoot at for Diamond All Events. Christine Gill out of Lakewood, Colorado. Saw her name she's the top of Diamond Singles right now as well, so certainly a nice run on her part. There it is amongst my mess of papers here. 23-24, Christine Gill, Diamond All Events.
23-24. That is just shy of the monster number we saw in 2010.
Certainly so. The
Jody Westner. That was scratch 23-30. The highest all events total in tournament history. And of course, she went on to win scratch and diamond all events with that total. Anytime you shoot 2,300, handicap or not, you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's not a bad day at the office. As Hank was sitting in for me, I was talking to a few folks out in front of us. Learned a little bit more about Christy Leong. Apparently, she had the grind out of all grind outs yesterday. Nothing but 9 counts and strikes. She was clean for all 30 for 636. So she certainly got rewarded today for fight and carry yesterday. It's her and Henning teamed up for a 1439 effort, 1481 unofficial diamond doubles total. I was also told she's won multiple titles at the California state level, so many of them in team events. So for a lot of folks, that's what it's all about out here. So I'm sure she enjoyed it, teaming up with Kalina to make that run. nice break to get the 4-5 out of there for Leong, leaving just the 7-pin in the 4th frame.
Well, Aaron, while you're away, we saw some terrible breaks that really were the difference, obviously, for Boomershine and Current in their title defense. But Boomershine with back-to-back 7-10s and then a crushed 9-pin in Game 3. That easily right there, we're talking 50 pins. That puts them in the lead, just ahead of their teammates. So that's kind of how it works, though. Current had a couple of trip 4 pins, and they had some breaks along the way. Things just didn't go so well towards the end. A lot of great shots, but ring 10 pins, flat 10 pins there at the end of doubles. And that's how it goes. You got to be lucky and good sometimes.
And I think I should have stayed outside as well. I took a walk, see how the weather was. It's gorgeous out, by the way. And I walked back in to see Lindsay at the front 7, and then sitting at center desk watching from there, and I thought it was just a 10-pin. I saw that 8 pop up there. I knew that wasn't good, and then to follow that, and she's been throwing the ball great. She's just needs to find a way to carry here.
Well, if you're curious about the carry and the scores, you can check them all out on xbowling.com, or you can find the app on your iPhone or Android device. Free app at the App Store. Download that, the X Bowling Tournament Edition, and take a look at the latest scores as they unfold here at the Women's Championships, Open Championships as well. Some very cool features on the website and on the phone app, so take a look at that. Don't miss a minute of the action, and don't miss another strike from Lindsay Boomershine. She comes back after the open frame with a big shot there on lane 29.
Looks like she made another ball change there, trying to find the right matchup of get into the pocket and carry. Did so right there. Boomershine's looking for 660 plus this set to grab the scratch all events lead once again. 664 would tie Joey Biendo's score, and obviously anything more than that would take the lead. Once again, Current 1 pin closer needs 663 to tie, and everything else is just gravy.
Great spare shot by Boomershine, but she continues to have trouble getting lined up here in game 1 of singles. Hank went down there to talk ball change, and they had good plans and the progression of how the equipment was supposed to go as the lanes changed here in doubles and singles. She looks a little bit frustrated after throwing great shots and not getting rewarded, and even a little bit confused at this point, but able to pick up that messy spare.
Yeah, she didn't lose any count there, was on a strike, so.
Certainly we've learned from our friend Matt McNeil after some of the performances we've seen from him. You have high expectations coming in afterwards, and certainly people have high expectations of you. and expect you to perform like that every year, and it just doesn't happen that way. You can't shoot 2,200 every single year. And Boomershine last year, 22-26 to take the Scratch All Events title. Certainly should not be upset about her performance so far. 703 in team, 692 in doubles. So, you know, well on her way if she can get lined up here for a couple big games. So another big year at the Women's Championships.
Very true. Just 1 or 2 shots away from getting back on track, and making a run. And saying it's 664 doesn't seem like a whole lot compared to some of the scores we've seen at the Open, what folks have need going into singles, but that's still more than 220 a game, and she currently needs to find a way to get on that pace. There's a great shot on lane 29. Henning continues on a roll, starting single strong here. That 290 was the first honor score of the 2013 event. Hopefully one of many to come here. We're already past the halfway point, the 2013 event, so.
Well, as we've learned at the Open Championships, they tend to come in waves. So we got one in the books. It's either they come in pairs or threes, or they come all the day that we send the honor score applications into headquarters. So we will see.
And you did that how long ago? Was that 2 days ago?
It's been a couple days, and immediately we have 2 300s at the Open Championships.
I think everybody who bowls wants you to send them in quicker.
Well, if Henning can keep striking, she's got a shot at making some more history here at the Women's Championships. As Boomershine said, a late addition to this team only a couple weeks ago. And now, leading 2 events already. Diamond and Scratch doubles. See if she can pile on a few more strikes. Leon's going to step up on the left. She's back on track after a couple of spares. All right, here's Current on the right, Boomershine on the left. Both of them working on doubles here, talking through some ball changes. Looks like Current might have gone back to the ball she started with. Shot there from Boomershine, but also possible she has more than one in the bag, so hard to ever tell. We saw Mark McDowell couple weeks ago. Is it 2 weeks already?
Seems like it.
Seems like it.
Seems like
earlier this month, he made a big ball change, and we talked about it. But it was just another drilling on the same ball.
It was 8 days ago. Time flies when you're having fun. We are having fun right now at the Women's Championships here at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center.
Never a dull moment. So we're moving right along. Just 4 bowlers on this pair of lanes. 6 on most of the rest of the pairs. Had a cancellation here. So we're going to get done a little bit earlier. Give Aaron Smith the opportunity to do some interviews, take some pictures.
Yeah, we'll have a few folks to talk to tonight, so be sure to look up that recap, and who knows, we may have a few more changes here if these ladies keep striking the way they are.
So 10-pin ends the string at 5 for Henning. I believe Hank said that was the Defiant Soul.
Yeah, she switched to that, I believe, to start the second game of doubles and hasn't looked back. 240s, 290s, and still has 240s out there this game, so. The pesky 10-pin stands again for Boomershine. It's got to be frustrating getting to the pocket that much and not still having good results, but not the results you're expecting. And she's certainly made a lot of good shots here and caught a few bad breaks along the way.
So we do appreciate everybody joining us in the chat room and all day long. A lot of folks checking in today. Matt Kinizar and Aaron Smith live at the 2013 USBC Women's Championship. A lot of dedicated bowling fans. Glad to have you.
All right, kicking off the 10th frame of singles here, Maddie.
Well, let's take a look at the scoreboard while we have this chance. Leon's going to step up on the left lane. We'll be back to the action in just a moment. She's working on 2 in a row, as you can see.
I'm not sure if they realize it's the 10th frame yet or not, Matt. Elysia's going up there a little too soon. I think we caught it just in time.
doing what we can to help the cause from back here and giving some ridiculous hand signals and trying to help without actually screaming into the microphone. But we got it all figured out. So no extra practice shots for Elysia Current. And we are back on track. So
just like that.
Henning's going to step up and look for a double here in the 10th. And if she gets to strike here, she gets to try one more time. She leaves the 5-pin, crosses over. Still a great start to singles after a fantastic doubles effort. Henning, 290 for 721. Christy Leong, 718.
I think stopping that 10th frame was the most fun I've had in a while without saying a word. We could use smoke signals. That would have been interesting. I don't know if the good folks at the RSCC would approve of that, but
well,
we got the job done, though. That's the important part.
Certainly we don't need any sprinkler rainfall on the lanes. We had a blackout the other day.
And Lindsay's carry is just not cooperating right now.
Aaron, check out bowler number 2 on lane 37.
2 on 37. Audrey Canizaro, possibly?
Could be. I don't know. I didn't think there was any kinfolk in town this weekend here in Reno, but you never know.
It's Matt's aunt stopping by the RSCC. She's got back-to-back marks, though.
Well, that is un-Canizaro-like.
All right, looks like another ball change for Lindsay here. Hank gave his approval on that one. I believe that was the freaking frantic. Pardon my French. 204 finish for Boomershine. And 225 in the books for Current. It's a great shot by Leong to kick off game number 2 here.
All right, so game 1 in the books, game 2 underway. And Leong not wasting any time. Henning either. But I did take a look at the standings earlier. Some big numbers in diamond singles for sure. Diamond all events, you talked about that. Always nice to come out and have a career day on the lanes.
the scratch singles score these ladies are all shooting for is 726. Set by Shauna Shannon out of Albuquerque, and they're a city we've been talking about a lot today. Shauna's also on the Diamond leading team, Some Strike It Hot, the defending Diamond team champions. Lindsay cannot catch a break here. Stuffs an 8-pin. Not more you can do after that.
Just keep throwing good shots. Act like a champion. Somebody already pointed that out earlier. After 2 7-10s, easy to get angry, to let one fly on a ball return or a chair, but Boomershine, a champion through and through. Take the good with the bad. No doubt she got some great carry and great breaks last year, and sometimes things even out. But 204 start for singles for Boomershine, 238 for Henning, 225 for Current, and just 206 for Leong. But strikes on the board already. We'll take a look up there in just a minute. Still possibility for big scores. 2 games left. We've seen crazier things happen.
A lot can certainly happen. 1 or 2 hits go one way or the other. This is a whole new ball game for everybody involved.
Keep throwing shots like that, it's going to be a fun afternoon.
To be fair, Matt, it's already been a fun afternoon. We've had start at 11 a.m. out here Reno time. It's already 4:15.
Doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't. We've been flying by. Greg Moore's already leaving for the day. They're helping us get squared away. Just gonna head home and put on Bowl TV and check out the end of this great telecast we're putting on here. Broadcast. Guess it's technically not on television, so.
This is better than television. All right, here's a look at Henning stepping up on the right lane. After this shot, we'll take a look at the scoreboard as things develop here in singles. Goes a little bit high, leaves the 4-pin. There's our scores through game number 1.
Henning had 566 in team, so struggled a little bit on the fresh, but has come back very nicely here in minors.
Great shot there from Leong for 3 in a row. Get back to the lanes now.
Been very impressed by Christy today. There's a very simple game, but she can repeat shots like none other.
Boomershine doubles up. Current looking for 3 in a row here after the 225 start. Seen these young ladies throw a lot of strikes over the years.
There's another great one right there. Not only are they chasing the all events number 2059, they're also chasing each other's scores. As I mentioned, Lindsay and Elysia only 1 pin apart through 6 games, so she built the lead up a little bit more. It's up to 22 now through 7, so a little friendly competition, if you will.
Well, if it can't be you on top of the leaderboards, certainly you want it to be your friends and teammates.
Sure, they're looking to spread the wealth around here. I got new doubles leaders. As maybe we'll see a singles and in all events. Stranger things have happened.
Here's Leung looking for 4 in a row. Looks like the right lane is starting to hook a little bit early. We saw Henning creep high, leave the 4-pin there. Current still perfect here in game number 2. Again, if you're curious about the upcoming live stream schedule, we got some good ones on the 29th. We'll round out the month with PBA 50 stars Kenny Parks and Bob Lerner Jr. You can find the schedule on bowl.com. You can go to bowl.com/livestream or just go to the main page and check out the right side of your screen, and you'll see the live stream information box. You can also keep an eye out on Facebook and Twitter, Sport of Bowling USBC, Matt Canizaro USBC, and on Twitter at USBC. We have all the latest news and headlines, so make sure to find your way to those pages regularly. You can also subscribe to our Bowl TV channel, youtube.com/BowlTV. You'll never miss a minute of the action or some great videos from USBC's Matt Lawson.
Boomershine is able to get all 10 out there on 29. Looking for a big finish here, similar to last year. Stepped up in the final game, needing 270 plus, and delivered with 279 to grab the scratch all events lead. But currently, Current doesn't, might have something else to say about that.
Hearing a lot of new names in the chat room today. Glad to see some different folks and some regulars joining us on today's broadcast. If you missed any of the action from the 2013 USBC Women's Championships, you can find that on youtube.com/BowlTV. These two broadcasts and many more. We've been at this at the Open Championship since 2010. And Lucas Wiseman has been globetrotting for many years as well, covering all of the USBC and other collegiate international events. So check that out. youtube.com/BowlTV.
We're moving right along here. Already in frame 6 of game 2.
All right, here's a quick look at the scoreboard now. Halfway through game 2. And our scratch singles lead right now,
7:26.
7:26. So everybody with a shot at that still.
Certainly still attainable.
Elysia Current with the momentum currently.
Nicely done.
Henning making her move here. Back with the strike. Boomershine struggling with carry today. A couple bad breaks. She can get more than a double. Really get things moving along as well.
Yeah, her last game of doubles there was probably one of the best 230s I've seen in a long time. I don't know how it looked from up here, but from where I was at, and she was making a lot of good shots and just not finding the breaks. Current continues to roll, 6 out of 7. Still has 279 out there.
Appreciate everybody stopping by before you head out to celebrate this Saturday night holiday weekend. Here comes tournament manager Eric Pearson.
The man, the myth, the legend himself.
He can't walk by. He can't resist wanting to come up here and chat for a minute.
He does.
I'd be more than happy to hand over the headset to let a real left-hander up in the booth if he does come this way.
Well, he's walking away. He can't handle the pressure. Last time he was on the live stream, the lights went out, so. As tournament manager, I don't know if he can take that risk.
Here's Leong, started this game with 3 strikes, followed that up with 5 spares, and another 10-pin. So she's likely getting frustrated as well.
Might be similar to what she was running into yesterday. Once again, she was 30 clean, nothing but 9 counts, with a 6:36 to show for it. So. Here's Boomershine stepping up, frame number 9. She sets it up perfectly. It's 269 still out there, current. The strike here on lane 30. Still has 279.
Something you and I are unfamiliar with is all those strikes on the scoreboard, but that does look awfully cool.
Yeah, I could get used to that. Won't happen anytime soon, but I could. So I look to our left. Jeff Jensen in the house.
How about that?
Getting ready for the 6 p.m. team event coming up here.
Another benefit of having both events in the same city in the same year is you get to utilize the same staff. All right, so we're in the 10th. Here's a look at the scoreboard after that strike from Leong.
It's her first strike since the 3rd frame. Looking to end with 3 strikes.
But another clean game. Actually, all 4 players clean here in game number 2.
I think that that 5-7 in the 10th might be Leong's only open of the tournament so far. Through 8 games, not just frames, games. Henning finishes game 2, 2:13 after a 2:38 start. She has 4:51 at the turn. Match in 2:13 for Leong. 4:19. Yep, 4:19. I was looking at the wrong person for a second.
A lot of work there, but 2:13, a nice reward for quality spare shooting. No matter what, they're leaving as the doubles leaders. Boomershine, no problem with carry here in game 2.
Stuff 8 in the very first frame. I believe both her and Current left 7 pins in frame number 4, and it's been nothing but strikes.
Aaron jinxed Elysia Current.
I didn't mean to. She's in the 260s no matter what. A fantastic game number 2 here. I got both of them.
That's mean. They're not going to be nice to you in the interview after.
.268 for Current. 493 at the turn. It's a monster. .258 for Boomershine. That will put her at 462.
All right, so Elysia Current is going to turn 493 here. Take a look at that now. She's well ahead of the pack here. She still needs a big 3rd game.
She's got 31 in singles and 32 total on doubles partner Lindsay Boomershine for looking at all events right now.
All right, well, let's take a look now at Leong and her first shot. Leaves the 4-7. Aaron's doing some number crunching. What do you got there for us?
Just looking at totals through 8. Looks like both of them could very easily get to the 2059 number here. Current actually only needs 171. And once again, there's only 32 pins separating Boomershine and Current for with that big all events scratch banner hanging right above 29 and 30. I mentioned it once or twice already. Lindsay had the big game in her finale to secure the all events lead, going 279. It might take an effort like that again, and in the way Elysia's throwing the ball, that might not be enough.
Well, it's all about stepping up, though. You got to make the big shots, put yourself in position. That's all you can do.
Neither of them can get to Boomershine's winning score of 22-26. Actually, 2200 is mathematically out of it at this point, but they'll be looking to crack the 2100 mark here with some big games. Eric Pearson still mulling around, watching the action. His current leaves a 4-7-10. That's the first poor shot we've seen from her in quite a while here in singles. I know she opened with a split. Actually, 2 splits. And then didn't miss for a while. She'll take the 2 and get back on track next frame. Henning makes a ball change and finds the pocket and a strike there. Frame number 3. She had stuck with that Defiant Soul for quite a while there after making that change late in the first game, and it's the results have shown. But as the lanes change, you got to make the adjustments in order to keep up with the pace. Current bounces back with a strike. As Boomershine steps up on 30. Current just went through the face on lane 30, and Lindsay finds the same fate. Doesn't leave a split, leaves a 3-6-10. So we'll see what adjustments everybody makes on lane 30. I'm sure they're talking, figuring out what's going on there. Lindsay's going to go talk to Hank a little bit as well.
There's still a big crowd on hand. We appreciate everybody being here. We're wrapping up the final game of our live stream doubleheader from the USBC Women's Championships. We're at the magnificent venue here inside the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. We saw some team competition earlier today, then new doubles leaders, and now we're going to wrap up singles, possibly with some fireworks, or at least a few good sets to entertain everybody. Thanks again for being here. Our next broadcast, May 29th, from the USBC Open Championships. We'll have PBA 50 star and Aaron's hero, Kenny Parks, and Bob Learn Jr., amongst others. So join us for that. Looking forward to it.
Good adjustment by Current, but is unable to get the 10-pin out. We'll see if 30 ends up being the deciding factor here for these ladies. Henning also just left a 10-pin on lane 30, and both Current and Boomershine went high in their previous efforts. Leong's working on a 3-bagger now. She trips the 4-pin out there. we'll see what the move is here for Boomershine on 30. She comes in light there, leaving the 2-pin, so
the frustrations continue coming off such a fantastic year in 2012. Anything less just seems disappointing, but certainly nothing to be upset about. Current mixes him up.
saws the nickel.
Aaron Smith getting fancy.
It's an Indiana term. I remember giving you a nickel once in league, and that didn't turn out so well on my behalf. But you earned it, though.
Well, as long as I earned it.
The nickel, of course.
Well, I'm going to be spending more than a nickel on my dinner as we wrap up the year in our Wednesday league. What's our number at now? 8-2?
8-2, I believe, yeah.
Wow. At least you have 6 months to practice before we come back and do it again next year.
I'm fine with that. I can live with that.
All right, let's see if Boomershine can get back on track. Henning with a strike.
She had a light 30. She had a light mixture last time on 29. Possibly an early adjustment from the 3-6-10. Goes dead flush there.
Yeah, there's nothing light or mixer about that one. That was an angry shot there. 10 pins straight back.
Once again, the all events number they're chasing right now, 2059. Certainly in reach. But they're both going to have to figure out lane 30. Current goes a little high there, but gets some generous carry.
This is a brief conversation with the 4-9 and decided it's time to go down. So nice break for a double. So just to recap, what do these bowlers need if anybody's going to make a move in all events?
Well, the 2059 of Joey Biondo is certainly in risk here. Current only needs 170 to tie the number. Boomershine needs 202, so 32 pins separating them. They're certainly both on pace to get there. It's just a matter of who at this point. Current's got one open this game.
Well, it's only going to make the story better. Current taking some extra time there before stepping up on lane 29, and her reward is a half 10.
She hit light on that on lane 29 last time and was able to mix everything up. That time it got a little closer, but the 6 was unable to knock the 10 out. Lindsay has not struck on 30 since she hasn't struck on lane 30 since the first frame. There we go. That's what I meant to say.
Spit it out, Smith. You're only halfway through your day now.
I know. 6 hours of live streaming will do that to you. She comes up light again. Big conversion there in the 7th. 2.45 is never fun to shoot at this point of an event.
It's not fun anytime.
I found that out the real hard way at the Open this year, so I ended up changing my entire philosophy because I left so many and missed so many during my team event. So. That's why Lindsay's name's on a banner and mine's on a lanyard.
It's a good one. Might have to use that one again soon.
It's just a different version of everything else we say, so we're getting good at that. Do we even know what number live stream this is now, Matt, for the 2013 run?
No, sir. We got to be close to 20 already. With a handful more to go, we're going to wrap things up for the year. The last team squad, or team day, of the Women's Championships promises to be a good one. 2010 regular, or Diamond and Scratch, all events champion, Jody Wessner. And a few surprises. We're not going to announce that one until it comes closer. It's going to be an exciting broadcast, though. You're going to want to tune in for sure. And that'd be a heck of a way to end the year at the Women's Championships. Again, the WC kicked off April 12th. Will run until July 1st. And more than 22,000 bowlers headed our way. Registration for next year already open. You can go to bowl.com, find the Women's Championships page, and the Register Now information box. And that will help you get registered online. New format next year, 4-player teams. Big change for the Women's Championships. Also going to an all-scratch format with some new divisions. 4 divisions for the team event, 6 for doubles, singles, and all events. You can find out all the details on bowl.com. Some great incentives for paying early and signing up, so check that out. You don't want to be left out in the cold here in Reno. So here we are in the 9th frame. Here's a look at the scoreboard right now. Aaron has given you the rundown on what Elysia and Lindsay would both need to take the all events lead. And while we're looking at the scoreboard, you guys missed another horrible break. Alina Henning with the 710 on lane 29. Aaron, how about those numbers one more time for those folks who may have been looking at something else as far as what they need?
All right. For all events, scratch all events, current 170 to tie. Boomershine 202. So they're both on pace to get there. It's just a matter of who does. Kern had a 32 pin cushion. There we go. Coming into game number 9 here.
Well, basically already there. It's a matter of who can finish stronger.
Yeah, both have one double this game, and Current has an open in the second. That's the pretty much only difference in their game in this game right now. So,
well, we know last year it took 22-26 to take home the scratch all events title. And a lot of great bowlers still to come through. So I don't know if 20 and change is going to get it done, but also a lot of players already through, and many not coming to bowl this year. They're bowling the Open Championships instead. So interesting. Interested to see how it works. Of course, you want to get as much as you can.
just in case. But over the 6 hours we've been here so far, we've seen a lot of people get to the pocket without striking as much as you think they would. So,
well, last year, of course, at the National Bowling Stadium. This year, brand new lanes here at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. So carry coming into play, without a doubt. But we said it many, many times, you can't win unless you leave in the lead. And one of these young ladies will do so. Just a matter of, can it hold on? We know Shannon Pluhowski and Megan Kelly still scheduled to come by.
I believe USBC Hall of Famers Robin Romeo, Jeannie Nacarado, Carol Norman are in town right now. So
we saw Liz Johnson yesterday at the Open Championship. So all of those bowlers a threat. 2,100 though, it's a big number no matter what.
Not
more or less average 700 across the board.
But in 2010 it took 23.30, 2011 21.99, and then last year obviously 22.26. So if you can get in the high 2100s, low 22, you got to feel pretty good. Certainly we saw Elysia Current and Boomershine both leave a lot out there in doubles. As far as carry, they made great shots, a couple bad breaks for Lindsay, and paid the price. So here's a look, frame number 10. Stage is set. We've already seen new doubles leaders. We will have a new scratch all events leader, just a matter of who and how much.
So we're coming down to the final ball here today. So quite a broadcast.
Well, looking forward to reading the recap later tonight.
Henning finishes 179 for 630 in singles. It's an all events total of 1917. Leong in the books 226 for 638 in singles.
And there goes Terry Leong, very talented senior player, always making noise at the Bowlers Journal Championships and other senior events around. Has been here watching Christie all day long.
Christie finished up 1992. It was a good year. I remember that one. And with that 4-pin, I think this is Elysia's no matter what. Oh, Sherry struck. She beat us to it.
Well, they know there's another squad that has to come up at 6 o'clock, team event. Lanes have to get oiled. So they want to get on their way, throw their strikes, get their interview started. And some paperwork for Kalina Henning as well, 290 earlier.
So that is 215 for Current. 708 21:04 in the books.
So not a good day for Joey Biondo today. She has now been beaten in scratch and diamond all events. Still has the scratch team lead, however. Find the leaderboards for this year's Open Championships and Women's Championships on bowl.com. Just go to the respective tournament pages, find the scores box, and you'll find what you're looking for.
Well, Lindsay finished up with 2:06 for 668. That gives her 2,063 scratch all events total, enough to move past Joey for second.
So 1-2 in the standings and 1-3 in the double standings.
So quite a day, quite a run at the title defense. Few bad breaks, falling short of doubles there, but Elysia will walk away today with the scratch all events crown that her doubles partner took home last year. So quite a display of bowling we got to see out here for this for the duration here, Matt.
Well, we had a lot of excitement today. It was a good time. Looking forward to hearing the recap and seeing what you put together for us later. Nice work today as always. We had some interesting guests on as well. Hank Boomershine joined us. Elysia Current came on during the team event to talk about how she was feeling heading into doubles and singles. And we'll be back with you again on May 29th. Kenny Parks and Bob Learn Jr., amongst others. So we're going to let Aaron go, handle some business, some paperwork, do some interviews. And I'll wrap things up here. Once again, this is the 2013 USBC Women's Championships. One of many live stream broadcasts from the Reno-Sparks Convention Center this year. We're looking forward to bringing you more. We had a great day today. Team event followed by doubles and singles. If you missed any of it, you can find the archived versions on youtube.com/BowlTV. Take a final look at the scoreboard here before we let you go. 6:30 for Kalina Henning. 7:08 for Elysia Curran as she marches into the scratch all events lead. Christy Leung, 6:45. Lindsay Boomershine, 20:63 all events total. She is second in scratch all events. So a great day on the lanes. And that's going to do it for us here at the Reno-Sparks Convention Center. This is Matt Canizaro for Aaron Smith. That's the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.